It's PMD. K dog. Easy. Hey. خلي يبدا هبوط and خلي يبدا هروط
On the spot. No, what's up,
Hello,
ladies and
hello.
gentlemen? We're here about to start on a journey, a podcast. So,
Yep.
as Monana, you speak live, we see the aka Vista the Great. If you wanna check me out, check me out as Sisandi and Shaker, YouTube and Instagram. So yeah, that's me.
Hello, hello. You are speaking to Cholo. Hey, what an intro there.
Intros are
Yeah,
always
yeah.
puzzling me.
Yeah, now mine is very short. Cholo, it ends there. Masos, he calls me Masos. So now,
Why are we
you're gonna
here?
begin with the intro. Yeah, our topic, what we're gonna be speaking about. Actually, we're just analyzing a few stuff.
Hey, Kanites, we're analyzing. Is it the financial thing here, Antone? Well, we were speaking about off air, guys. We were speaking about how actually government makes money. So, and in terms of also us as South African citizens, how do we feature into the global geopolitics of the world where you find a country like South Africa always borrowing money against the GDP with the natural resources that we have. And yeah, how do we all feature into that and looking at also at the solutions of it as part of youth to addressing some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first question was, how do we make money? Let's just give it out there. Because you did say it off show or off air. And then now, let's bring it to the camera.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, but this opinion can vary. I think or I believe that the South African government makes money out of taxes. And then, because if you look at the taxes system, when the financial minister actually reads what gives us a medium term budget or your first king, the budget on the first year,
Yep.
they always refer to the amount of money that they're going to spend. And at some point, government doesn't own any money, the way I understand money. And so for me, I thought about it like they're actually saying that this is the money us as South Africans, the people on the ground, are actually going to spend. And this is how SARS is going to collect taxes from us. Because in most cases, it's money that's collected from SARS specifically through your petrol increases, through your cigarettes, your levies, and all of that. That's how I understand government to be actually raising capital. But the question of them borrowing, that's still a mystery, but it's still a mystery that we all have to research. I do know something, Mara. I won't shade now.
Okay, and then now I wanted to ask, do you think the recurring, I don't know whether I should call it a recurring debt or it keeps increasing? Ne? We keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Do you think we'll ever, I don't know, stop borrowing, rather finding ways to make money without us borrowing as a country?
I'll answer it in like this. And also with that, you must also bear in mind that as a country, Lorona, against other countries, we need to have a credit score. Just like if you go borrow to a bank. So if you live without some sort of a credit score, then the lenders won't know your history. Perhaps it's different with billionaires or millionaires. I don't know. One day I'll explain it better when I'm a millionaire. Yeah, but I think
Hey, well, that is something again, but we'll get to that.
yeah, but I think in terms of your question, Corey, it also depends on the rate of how we actually again pay back the money, because in most cases we always hear of borrowing, but we hardly hear in terms of how much have we paid. Like no, we borrowed
Exactly.
something like billions from the World Bank,
Exactly.
and it's not the first time. So the very same politicians or the president or whomever, they've never come back to us to say that we've paid this much.
Exactly.
So that's why you ask yourself, are we actually really borrowing? Or
the country just keep taking and taking and taking.
yeah,
because-
or is there some sort of a scheme to enhance
Exactly.
the global power? So it's a question that didn't begin with the current president. It goes way back because
Yeah, because we take the money and behind closed doors we don't know
yeah, what happens?
what the agreements are, what happens, because it seems as if we are being put on a spot to keep borrowing, and then I would say be dependent. Re tshwanetse re nne dependent on this borrowing idea.
And it also goes back to who controls who in this political arena, because if you look at the current economic structure of South Africa, the poor are still getting more poor and the rich are getting rich, which for me, now I don't have a problem, because at the end of the day, there will come a time when you have to decide as an individual, do you want to be rich or do you want to be poor? Because the middle class born, they will always suffer.
Exactly.
So living a sustainable life and all of that, I think it's changing, and we need to ask more questions in terms of how do we, as also South African youth, understand the economy, how the economy functions, how when a certain stock drops, how does it affect me, a person on the ground, and why does fuel keep increasing based on most of the things, correct? Those are the questions that I think at least we need to start pondering and teaching others also. If you know, let's teach each other. Now let's show others say, but we need to ask questions and also we need to learn.
Exactly. Eman, you were talking about something here, so I wanted to check the stats, ne? Maranong, I'm using an old phone, the great masterpiece in the iPhone. So mine, if I
there's no
if I
such.
go to that, my recording is gonna stop. So
You know something about that? It's when people live with, if we have iPhones and someone else, they always use that. And don't blame us. Blame Steve Jobs. Blame Steve Jobs.
I'm an affordability guy.
Nah, this phone is affordable.
Never.
It's affordable.
iPhones are for the moneyed.
Nah.
Those man. Yeah. I'm searching.
So yeah, guys, yeah. While we're searching on that, ponder on this also. Also ask yourself, guys, in terms of 10 years down the line, how do you actually vision your own life? Do you have a scenario for that, or you actually just living to survive for tomorrow, for today, but with the hope of tomorrow? Because I think with the upcoming national elections in 2024, the landscape is going to change. And if you follow the political arena and what, the analysts and many people are saying that the ANC, because there's a lot of story there. And we're in 2022, so they're already talking about 2024 elections, wara, 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 and all of that stuff. So just ponder in terms of us, what's our role in this current era? Because every youth and every generation has a purpose, and whether your action is little or what, but that action can define someone's future tomorrow. So
Yep.
we have a lot of youth aiming for it, they're sad, yo. They're sad and that's
Vistas, tell me, the great, am I still in the topic or am I off topic now? Because I'm checking South Africa's economy. Ne? It says our free score is at 56.2, making our economy 112 freest in the 2022 index. Are we still off top? Am I off topic now?
Not necessarily, because it depends on how you interpret
Because
the
now
data.
we were talking about the issue of us
Borrowing.
continuing to borrow, and then repaying. But although you did mention that we have never heard any of our ministers,
We hardly hear them.
we do saying that we've paid this much, we're left with this much.
But what that is saying, Corey, we are 100 and something freest at 50 something percent. Ne?
So I shouldn't say South Africa is dependent, according to this article.
Now, yeah, I think we are not dependent on global money, but politics and how they function, especially when you look at world politics and geopolitics, because in most cases, I think a lot of us are not, what's this word? We don't know how those functions. Then I'm not an expert there, but at least with the research, we are able to identify your own self, how you fit into the whole political arena. So I think in terms of government being able to boost the economy or be seen as boosting the economy, they have to borrow. And mind you, we don't know how. We only know the government size. Because I think most of us don't read the actual budget when it's out. So that's also something that we have to be cognizant about, to say that when a minister reads the budget, let's not look at the speech. The speech is fine. But let us look at the stats of the budget and combine it by looking at what SARS's report says and what other agencies say in terms of profits they made and how much returns they did. Because, like I said, SARS is the biggest contributor through the levies. We need to check the SARS reports. When SARS gives its report back to say, no, we've collected so much money. That money, it's automatically government's money. So the fiscus is SARS, in my own understanding. But I agree, in politics, I can't tell you the truth, because if I tell you the truth, then there's no need for me as a politician to be there. So I must keep lying to you.
Now we know the real story.
But that's my opinion. I'm not, So we don't know, guys. I'm not saying anybody's lying. Go do your own research and find your own facts, man. We all have access to smartphones and sometimes libraries and free things. So that would be useful to learn about these, because it's something, if you look at the current population, we're all saying we don't have money, want money. And our country, literally on the streets, there's a lot of money on the streets.
There is, no? There is. Do you want to talk a bit about the business that you're currently doing? I'm no entrepreneur, so is it...
Nah, I'm not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you're the boss. You're the boss.
I'm an opportunist.
So is it now fair enough for me to put you on the spot? Or maybe we can schedule for the next podcast.
Yeah, and I think it's better if we schedule it for the next podcast, because for now,
guys, this podcast, we were just organizing it just to do a little practice. Next time we'll come prepared. I think we could.
Who didn't come prepared? A podcast, you're natural at a podcast. So I don't know if you're saying prepared. The sad part, there's no glass. None glass. There's no glass.
No, next time. B.
Yeah. So see you guys on the next episode. Perhaps on then but it's things prepared things sometimes they don't go your way. So it's better to have an unprepared stuff. Because sometimes people are more natural. They are more truthful when they are more relaxed and rather than prepared. And with how podcasts are run, it's something that I was just speaking your mind and then it's the way
everything comes naturally.
Because if you prepare, it's like a scripted stuff, so certain things might be omitted and wara. So at the end of the day, it's all about sharing information and being out there also, being part of the revolution that's happening. Guys.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, okay, before we go, can I just, you were telling us that SARS is like our main, what?
Yeah, collective government.
Where we would say it's a chelete via that. So now I was...
Yeah, checking the facts. Let's check the facts.
Yes.
Because if history is important on this part, because we must always remember it. SARS as an institution, not today, the generation of today are seeing it from this institution. But historically and throughout the beginning of time, even during the era of kings, some sort of collection was made back then so that you'd be able to use certain things within the king area that you live. So SARS has always been there. Just that the structure has changed, things have become more monetized, but history is there. So that's for all of us to research and see how SARS as an institution came to be, not only in South Africa, but on the rest of the world. And I think America and Britain are the best examples to actually search in terms of how governments generate their revenue.
Okay.
But maybe I'm like, what are the facts saying? Fact checker, check the fact.
Yeah. I'm trying to read this. It says here capital gains tax. It's not a separate tax, but forms part of income tax.
Yeah, that's confusing. I'm not a tax expert.
Yeah. Now I don't want to be off topic, hence I will continue.
Still on the same line.
A capital gain arises when you dispose of an asset on or after this date, 1 October 2001, for proceeds that exceeds its base cost. What the hell? Do you understand that?
Nah, perhaps it says you use the wrong word search. I get we are looking for how do governments make money.
Oh, yeah.
So SARS is an institution of government.
Yeah, and then I wanted us to elaborate. I just wanted us to elaborate further on the issue of the institution making revenue, making money that they...
I know also part of the questions are how do we as a people benefit from that revenue that government collects? Because in South Africa, we know that the majority of people who are via SARS sites, the biggest, they are the ones who are benefiting mostly, and how the departments are structured. As I'm saying, everything in South Africa, it's so like the way it's structured. Yes, it's a beautiful structure, but with loopholes, because each and every year departments get money from the national office, which the national office gets money from SARS. It's something that we all have to understand at some point. So now that's how I understand it, and also like that's how I understand it, and also how the government gives back. So, but there's a lot of research because things change, policies come, and Parliament says there are many policies that have been debated and all of that. So it's upon us to actually learn.
Here's an interesting point to note, ne? But SARS collects tax revenue to serve a higher purpose, which is to enable government to build a capable state and strengthening the foundation of our democracy.
Yeah,
No?
it is.
Through effective and efficient delivery on its mandate, SARS continues to support government programs as a catalyst. As a catalyst to growing the economy and bettering the lives of all South Africans.
Yeah, so I think that SARS is...
You just did point it out. Yeah. Now, the implementation of SARS vision, 2024, is a strategic journey well on course towards rebuilding a smart and modern SARS with unquestionable integrity, trusted and admired.
Yeah.
We now we know.
Yeah, now we know how government makes profit. But they don't make profit. They do whatever they do.
Yeah, we know collecting that money obviously is to help South Africans.
Yeah.
It's a bargain. Yeah, recycle or
It's a wheel.
Yeah. For the period ending 31 March 2022, SARS collected a gross amount of 1.3
trillion.
It's 1.8
trillion.
Billion.
Oh.
1.8 billion.
Gross profit.
And now they say, yeah.
The net, they don't say it.
Let me see. Offset by refunds of 321.1 billion. No. This results in net collections of 1.5 billion, which represented a surplus of 314 billion. That's 25.1% against the prior year. So now, are we making a difference here in people's lives?
Yeah. I remember the SASA has about 15 million people. But I might be wrong, but the facts will prove it. It has more than, all I can say, there are more than 10 million people dependent on social grants. And mind you that the very same money there, it's money that's going to be used to pay for, they're going to be distributed to your departments of education, all the departments. The very same money that they receive, it's money that SARS has collected. So what the main trick for us to understand is when a minister announces a budget and when SARS announces their financial year collections and what, we need to understand how those two things interconnect with each other or synchronize one another towards how the fiscus actually works.
And I think this, us being dependent on, I'm not going to speak for myself, but those monies that are being given for our people to depend on Chelete SARS, it's something else, man.
Like who?
Right now, but Bakradi grants.
You're referring to 350 or grants because
the 350.
The 350 it was COVID relief. It was not for me.
Generally, the grant issue thing, it's us being dependent which is something I think the government must look into, man. Why not rather create opportunities for people to? You were telling me that just now that why rates about to be dependent on getting money rather than empower making it a challenge.
No, I do understand where you're coming from. But look at it in this fashion. If the government cancels grants, it means you're canceling a grant of a disabled child who can walk to school from there. Someone has to pay for subsidized transport. How is that going to happen? And your pensioners also. Those who've never.
Okay, let's
it has different structures.
Yeah.
But I think this 350 is the thing that prompts why it, because if you look at it in this fashion, if as a young person from my stance, even if I was not in this position, I'd never be dependent on government to give me free money and then not do something on the other side. I'd get it, but it won't be the main source of my own income. I have to have something else. And then if I struggle, okay, I get something. It's my money. Then I also have a right.
Yeah, to see why about doing the show.
Yeah, so I'll also but not depend on it as a way out of the situation because it depends on how we look at things anyway. Because this is my own view and how I see things. I have to hustle for myself. If someone else can do it, and then not be dependent on that, and I become dependent on that as a young person in this day and age, then literally there's something wrong, general about society, or we are not seeing something that's been put there. So it depends on how we all look at it. But I might be wrong, and then someone else might be saying, "Hey, I can't even." It's.
But you know what? I still think the government should not give out these grants. Ne? Apart from those two that you mentioned, obviously, it's a fact. It helps those who are really in need. But we have the grants that are what you call. I have
disabled grants.
No. I mean, I have 2 kids. Ne?
Oh, child.
And I become dependent on that money. It's an idea. I shouldn't just take the money and not do something about it. But I still think, why not come up with something that's going to make or create jobs for us to be able to make money? I don't know whether be it the government itself or the business.
For me, I think it lies on both. Remember that the role of government is to create an enabling environment so that business can come and create jobs.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I understand things, and that's how I've always been taught by government. And now where I am, I'm seeing it too. Government doesn't have jobs. Even today, the government literally doesn't have jobs. And if it has jobs, working in government, yes, that's a topic for another day. But how I understand is that they need to create an environment where business can come and invest, and business creates the job opportunities for people. But if the environment is not conducive enough for business to come, then investment literally won't come. So it goes with a whole lot of issues, and also for me, I'll also say we need to start participating in politics because I am government and I am government.
True.
So isolating myself
unlock
then it's a futile thing because I am government, and if we don't rally enough to change these things, can't expect someone like Cyril Ramaphosa to change things for me.
Yeah,
on the
that's
ground.
true.
The
That's
guy made
true.
his money a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Let the
true.
next president will come. I can't
It's
expect
gonna
that.
be the same. Yeah.
But we live in a society where, it's tough, but also within the toughness,
Mm-hmm.
you need to seize opportunities. Now
Yeah.
it's because where our country is going now, we need a lot of youth who are not looking at jobs from government because literally, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
government has those jobs anyhow. Or if they do, they can't give them out. They have to create an environment where business can build the infrastructure because government cannot be building infrastructure, giving you jobs. That's too much pressure only on
Oh yeah.
them.
Oh
And
yeah.
then that's
Yeah,
where we are
point
now.
taken, point taken. Do you think now that South Africa's education system it's good?
Nah, it has to radically change.
Mm.
Yeah, it has to change radically in a manner where it literally has to change. But the answers are there. These guys know the answers. So there's politics are
They're
you're
screwing
not,
us up, man.
yeah, and also as upcoming parents and some parents, private schooling is getting expensive.
Mm.
And now you'll take your child to a private school, sure, pay a lot of zaka.
Mm.
And then a child who comes from Kasi, public school, who's been struggling, employs you after 10 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
To add on that, they say 27% of students who have attended school for 6 years cannot read. Boro, naso. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's saying, it has to change,
Mm-hmm.
and how it changes also is important because the main question would be, we see it has to change, Mare. We are not participating in actually, okay, what's this? Kind of when you want the policy to change, there's this concept that they say we are not lobbying
Mm-hmm.
for change in policy as young people.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are, then something else happens and derails the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, mind you, the fees must fall. The struggle is still there.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at below the higher institutions and go back to basic education, where's the struggle at?
I for me it's at the basic education. It begins there upwards.
So if all of us are sitting here and discussing higher education politics but ignoring
Exactly.
basic ones, and
Exactly.
even from basic, it's
It should
also
begin
early
there.
childhood development. That's a
Exactly.
critical phase.
Exactly.
So we just have to. Some of us will become change in that, and then some will become catalysts, like SARS say.
Oh yeah.
It just depends in terms of, do we have the same vision to see a country are we going forward at the same, with a one understanding as young people, or what? Because if you all have different visions, then you'll have this kind of a mess. But
True.
if we can have at least one vision where we all understand how to structure this, then we can actually launch a fight towards changing that. But I guess
there's an article here, yeah, Business Tech, It says there's a big change planned for schools in South Africa. The Department of Education developing a new history curriculum for schools. But that's for one specific subject. It's not generally the change in the system itself.
so I need to go finish.
Yeah. We'll come back, man. We'll come back for you guys, our viewers. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mavista, for sharing the knowledge. Power to you, hey?
No, we are
Power,
trying.
power,
We are
power,
trying.
Dad.
We are trying.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Nah? Yeah, Dad. Business here.
Maybe that
Thank you. Peace.